Hello, my name is Maddie. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is my educational web series about how to use the internet for those who are new to the internet. Today's video is going to be about email or electronic mail. Email is a great place to get started with the internet because it's one of the easiest ways to get started with social media. The advantage of learning how to use email is, unlike traditional mail, which takes a couple days to get to the recipient, or up to weeks depending on how far apart you are, email you can send a message to anyone on any part of the globe instantaneously. Now, to get an email, we'll actually go through the setting up an account process. I'm going to minimize my screen. That way you can actually see my screen, and we will walk through it step by step how to make an email. Alright, so let's dive into the demonstration part of this video. The first place we are going to go is our internet browser. My browser is Edge. Yours could be Google Chrome or Firefox, or if you're on a Mac, it'll be Safari. But the process is generally going to be about the same. You're going to double click on your browser icon, and then you'll be taken to a page that looks something like this. Now, you might not use Bing, you might be on Google, but either way, you're going to get to your chosen email provider one of two ways. Personally, I'm going to make a Gmail account, but Yahoo is also another viable option, or whatever your email provider of choice is. Now, you can either click right here in this text box, or if you don't have that available on your screen, you can click up here. Just make sure that you hit the backspace key to clear out that link. And I'm going to go through here just in case you don't have that white text box. And then you're just going to type Gmail, the letter G, and then mail, and then hit enter. And that's going to bring up a list of results. And I'm going to click on the first result, and that's going to take us here. It wants me to sign in, but we haven't made our account yet, so we're actually going to go down and click on the create account button, and we're going to make one for ourselves because we're not our own business. And to make our account, we just need to type in our first name and our last name, and then we go on to creating our username. Now, your username can be anything you want it to be, but the general format is some combination of first dot last. Like for this email, I would try Maddie, and we'll try that. Now, it tells us this username is taken because there's so many emails out in the world, and each person has to have a unique one. And down here, it gives us some suggestions. Number 12. That's also taken. So I am going to give in and click on one of their suggestions for the sake of this video. But feel free to keep trying new combinations until you get a username that you're happy with, because once you make your username, you're not going to be able to change it. And now we move on to the password. This is a really important step because your password is what keeps random people from logging into your email. It is what makes sure that you're the only person that opened your email. And later on, you're going to make more accounts that use your email to log in. And a lot of times your email often has a password recovery feature for other accounts. So your email password is really important that you make it secure and make sure that it's a good fit. Now, most people normally want to put like their birthday or something really easy to remember. But if it's easy to remember, that means it's easy to guess. So your best bet is normally to have a piece of paper or some kind of secure place to keep your password. That way you know it's safe. Don't share it with anybody. Don't tell anyone your password. You need to keep it private because your email is going to be your gateway for lots of other passwords in the future. And you can see it gives you a little recommendation there. Use 8 or more characters with a mix of numbers, letters, and symbols. I feel like that's a great tip. Really important to follow. So I am going to cut after I come up with a password. Alright, after you have successfully created your password and then written it down to be kept in a safe place, do not stick a post-it note under your keyboard. That is the number one spot people keep their password. Bad protocol. You might be alright if you're just at home and you trust your family members, but if you're in a public place or at your place of work, do not stick a post-it note under your keyboard. That is the easiest trick in the book. That's where someone's going to find your password. Make sure you just keep it in a safe place, whatever that is for you, somewhere you can access it whenever you need it. Now we move on to the next step of creating our email, which is where we have to verify our phone number. Now I'm sure you guys are lovely, but I don't really want to put my phone number on the internet. But how it's going to work is, here's my example phone number. You just type your phone number in, and then you hit next, and then it knows that's fake, but you will type your phone number in and hit next, and then you will receive a text message with a code to prove, hey, I actually own this phone number and the person who I say I am. It's just an identification step to make sure you are who you say you are. And I'm going to type my phone number in, and when I get the code, I'll be back. Another thing to note is there is also a call instead feature you can click in case your phone is not capable of receiving text messages. You can just click call instead, and then you will quickly get a phone call where they will relay to you what your code is, and all you have to do is type in the code, and then we can move to the next step. You can put your phone number in if you want to for additional account security. It's a password recovery thing. Now, this may not be applicable to you, but this is a recovery email address, which is basically if you have another email address, you can type that one in here, and if you forget the password to this one, you can say, hey, this is my recovery email address, and you can sign into that one to prove that it's you. And then here you can type in your birthday, which I'm just going to pick random ones, and after you type the years in, you select your gender, and if you want to know why they ask for this information, they provide a link you can click on. Then we hit next. Now, normally in tutorials, you cut this part off where it's like, oh, this went wrong, let me fix it. But I want to keep it in just in case this screen appears for you. Personally, I haven't received it before, so we are going to work it out together. I'm just going to hit next. It said something went wrong. And now we are back to the start screen, which is fine. It's not a long sign up progress. We'll try again. After I type all my information in, I will take us back to the screen where we were at. Alright, now we're back to the screen, and we are just going to hit next again. And now we've reached a new page, which privacy and terms. These are the terms and conditions. Feel free to read through all of these as well as go through the more options. And then every website you're going to encounter is going to ask you to agree to the terms and conditions before they let you use the site. It's just a formality. You hit agree, and now we wait for the next thing to load. This should be the last step before we actually get to see our new email. This is a common feature. They kind of give you some pop-ups to walk you through the program. Google Meet is now available. We're not really interested in using that right now, so we're just going to say got it. And that's really all the basics for setting an email up on your desktop. Really important thing with email is you can communicate with people, and it's also important in the future when you're making accounts for other services. And now we're going to get into the mobile device tutorial, how to get set up over there. So I'm just really quickly going to close that out, and then I'm going to jump over to screen recording, which you won't be able to see my face because there's not enough screen real estate, but I promise you'll still be able to hear me, and I will still be there every step of the way. If you want to set up an email from a mobile device, there are two main camps. The first is the Android camp, where apps are gathered from the Google Play Store, and the Play Store icon looks like this. And then there's the Apple camp, where apps are stored in the App Store, where the icon is a blue A that looks like this. Since I have an Apple device, my App Store looks like this, but the processes are going to be pretty much identical between the App Store experience and the Google Play experience. Depending on your device, you'll go to either store. For me, I have an iPhone, so I'm going to touch the App Store icon. And then since we are getting a Gmail account, we are going to click search in the bottom right corner. Once we hit search, it takes us to this page where we will then touch the text right beside the magnifying glass where we can start typing, and we're going to type Gmail because that's the type of email we want to set up. If you wanted to set up a Yahoo, you would type Yahoo here. And then we're going to scroll down to the Gmail app. It looks like this, a little colorful envelope. Normally, it would say Get, but because I've had this app previously downloaded before, it's this little cloud. So we are going to click on the app description, click on the little Gmail email by Google, and we can see lots of information, who's developed it, and that's a good way to tell if an app is sketchy or not. Generally, apps should be pretty safe considering they have a verification process to be put on the App Store. That's why I recommend getting all your programs directly from the App Store. That way they're more secure rather than downloading apps from the internet for your mobile devices. So just click the cloud and it's going to start downloading. Normally it'd say Get if you haven't downloaded this app before. And then this little circle is your progress bar. So I am just going to cut to when it finishes downloading and then take you through the next couple steps of the process. Alright, now that the app has finished downloading, the open option appears. So we're just going to click that. Now if you have an Android device, it'll look a little different, but they follow the same general steps. You're just going to click the little download button until it says open. Alright, now that we have our Gmail app downloaded, we are going to create our account. Now the only option is sign in, but we're actually going to be able to create an account from here. We are going to select Google because we're going to make a Gmail account. We're going to hit the continue option because it wants to take us to another browser to sign in. And then we are going to hit create account. And then for myself, just like on the desktop, and we're going to enter our first and last name. Very similar setup process. Things just get moved around. It's a bit more simple because there's less screen on a mobile device. Now this is the same idea as the desktop site. It's formatted a little bit differently so it fits on our mobile device. So what we're going to do is you can either choose one of the Gmail addresses it suggests, or you can click create your own. I recommend creating your own. That way you can try to customize it and make it exactly what you want, because your email address is a permanent choice and it should be something easy to remember. For the sake of the tutorial, I am just going to select one of the pre-made Gmails that they have provided. To select a Gmail, you just click on the little circle button and then we hit next. And then we're going to create a strong password. Now, after we create our secure password and we write it down, Google will ask you if you would like to add your phone number to your email. And once again, this call is up to you. You can use your phone number to reset your password. It helps you receive video calls and messages, but that call is up to you. You can either choose skip or yes, I'm in. Now we are just going to move to the next step. It's asking us to review our account info. Is this your first and last name? Is that the address you want? If it is, you're going to click next. And once again, we're just shown the terms and conditions. You're going to see this more and more as you make more accounts and use more services. We're going to agree. And now, after we wait patiently for it to load in, we can see our new account. And this is how you sign into a Gmail on a mobile device. Now, we're going to use the email that we made on the desktop just to show proof of concept that you make your email and then you can sign onto it with any device you have on hand. We're just going to click sign in, and it tells us set up email. We're going to select Google. It's going to say it wants to use google.com, which is fine. Hit continue. And then we're going to type in our email and then we'll hit next. And then we're going to enter our password really quickly. And after we type in our password, we just hit the next button. And then as you can see, all the same emails from the desktop email that we set up are here. Notice it's so much easier to sign in than it is to sign up, because once you make the account, all you have to do is type in your username and your password. That concludes the mobile device tutorial, how to set it up from there. and I am just going to jump back over to the full screen mode and leave you with some closing notes before we finish the tutorial. And before I conclude this video, I just want to leave you guys with a little positive affirmation when it comes to the internet, because I know it can be scary and overwhelming and there's so much information to process and it's just a whole world that you've never dived into before. But just like how you don't have to understand how every single part of a car works in order to drive that car and to be able to go to destinations you like to go, you don't have to understand every facet of the internet and how every single piece of it works in order to use it and for it to make your life better and to find new entertainment options. I would just like to thank you so much for watching, especially if you've made it all the way to the end. Thank you so much. I hope you've enjoyed this video, got something from it, and I hope to see you next time. Have a fabulous day!